which is a concept we've been talking about the last couple months. Can you grab this end, sir, and pull it toward you? Do you recognize any of the squiggles there?
The one, well, I guess from your perspective it's the bottom, but from this perspective it's the top one. It's part of the nin. I think it's heart.
Correct. Yeah, so the bottom kanji here is shin, which means mind or heart or sometimes spirit, which is the same one in the window. Do you see it over there? Now it's drawn differently because everyone writes differently. You guys would write differently than I, etc. But that means heart or mind in this case. This is fu and do, Fudoshin. The fu is like a negative. It's like it says it's meaning un, like non or un, and the do in this case means moving or movable. So unmovable heart, immovable mind. Now, in many ways, unshakable spirit. Okay, imperturbable heart. All of these things mean the same. Fudo, you know from Fudoken, right? But Fudoshin is a bit different. Now, you could look at these, you can spin them to positive and negative, but obviously in the positive form, it means that nothing can disturb what? My peace of mind, your peace of mind. How do you develop an immovable mind or an unshakable heart? Well, there's a million ways, right? What's one way in your life that you believe either you have started to, you already have, or you've glimpsed it? What is something that has helped you, it might be Budo, helped you have an immovable spirit or mind? Anyone want to say something about that? Because this is such an important concept. It's one of the 5 principles of being a samurai is Fudoshin. You have to have an immovable mind to even train in martial arts, right? Because you can't be kind of a weak person that quits after a day. You have to stay the path, and that's what this is about too. At the same time, when issues come up, when I have bad days, bad months, bad years, I have to have an immovable spirit that won't shake me from the path and knock me off the mountain. A lot of people quit not because of what they do, but sometimes what others do around them. And it affects them so highly that they just lose it. They have the heart, they have the spirit to train, but they don't have the immovability. And just before someone talks, the negative part of this is you're so stubborn, you don't change your mind, you're closed-minded. In other words, I'm immovable with my thoughts and beliefs. So you want to be very careful who you surround yourself with so that you're not stuck in a bubble. This can be a negative. You're so stubborn, you're Fudoshin, your heart doesn't move.
And there's so much to say about that alone. Because I would say that in some cases, I would look at the lighter side of being immovable. I've talked about it before. There was a quote that I had seen one time, and it said, "The things that you do and you allow in your presence says more about your character than anything that you say." Meaning, I'm unmovable with certain aspects of my life. If I have a friend, I don't care, if I have a friend that does something that I fundamentally disagree with, and I have a conversation with that person is going to continue down that path, they can't be my friend anymore. Because what you just said, I'm not going to allow that to be in my life. I'm not going to allow that. So you have to look at some things and in your life and say, I won't move on that. That's my core values and core beliefs, and I'm not going to change. Now, you have to have an open enough mind to look at it and make sure you're not being what Mr. Norcross just said. In other words, not being, well, this is my way and I'm never going to change. You've got to be able to look at it from both directions. And I struggle with that because there's some things that I have that I just feel like that's not the right way, but then I try to look at it from another person's perspective and think, okay, well, maybe it is. Maybe it is for them, but that doesn't mean it is for me. I got lots. I said earlier that when you talked about ways that we could be better, I think we're tested. Life tests you. You said you may have hard years. You may have hard times. And rather than look at something bad that happens to you as it was bad, you try to, one of the things areas I'm working on is trying to find a good in something that was bad. And an example could be if you lose your job. That's really, really, really bad, but that could be life teaching you a lesson and or teaching it's time for you to move on and you get a better job and you get something different. Well, yeah, it was really horrible, but then you got to look at it from what's a good part of that happening. So I think what you'd said earlier, all of this can be good and bad, but I think we as warriors need to look to see, is it good and bad, and then have that maturity to look and make sure we're not immovable. But I don't want you guys to think that, especially the young ones, to think that being immovable is always bad. It may not be.
Who else wants to say something? Yes, sir.
And I think that what you're saying also involves to become immovable is understanding. Is that I understand where I'm coming from, but I also understand where you're coming from. And that allows me to then better solidify my foundation. That it's now a shared relationship. We're both stronger because of it. And I now understand that no, this is right. This is how I am and this is how I feel, and that's fine. And we can agree to disagree and similar things like that. But we're just understanding, something that has troubled you or is that affecting you, understanding what that might be and how to then move forward with it and go through the process of taking care of it or grieving or whatever that might be, and then through that process you are again solidifying your heart and who you are for the future.
The last thing I'll say is something he keyed on, and that is finding people in your life that are going to tell you the truth. That's huge, and I think that'll help that helps your heart, right? I mean, it's so important to have people that can tell you and call you on your BS and just be there for you. So it goes back to what you said about surrounding yourself with. I think that all comes into play with this.
How has this kept your spirit strong? Anyone want to say a word about that? I'd like to hear someone younger, yeah.
It's not particularly like people insulting me, but like the news around isn't quite, the happiest, but, I don't really take it to heart. I just kind of think, if you'll try to get past this, the news won't affect you.
Mm-hmm. Someone else, good.
I think another part of that is, most of my life I was not like known as a pushover, but I was always like very people pleasing, and I just wanted to do quote unquote what I thought was the right thing, for the best, greatest number of people. And I think that it took me a while to learn how to be immovable because I didn't quite understand that maybe I was the one with the good idea. So I think that, being here, coaching, watching other young people go on and do great things, I think that's kind of shown me that you need to stick with your guts sometimes and, do what you really want, not what other people, want you to do.
Good. In a fighting sense, Fudoshin is you cannot be moved by anyone, right? So they invade your space, and you hold your ground, and you send the anger right back to them. It's like you're a shield. So a movable spirit in martial sense is your basic white belt earth test. I cannot be moved from this position. I am fixed here, and you will not take my space. So that's a very brave position, Fudoshin, in a positive way. The bully is picking on the kid day after day on the bus, get out of my seat, and the kid just one day says, no, this is my seat, and I'm not moving. Thousands of stories in history about that. Fudoshin, you will not take my space. And if you hit me, I'm going to hit you right back. Fudoshin. So that's a powerful way of looking at it in a martial way. All the elements represented are in there, but it's a great way to think about that. You've earned your right to be in this black belt class. You put the dirt time in, the sweat, the blood, the tears. This is Fudoshin. No one's taking you from your position. So that's another way to look at it.
I think if you add in the kind of the martial art aspect of it along with the life of it, is that I can be who I am, who we are in a daily sense and with people around us because we can smash face.
Mm-hmm.
because because I know we can stop whatever might happen, right? It's comical, but I can dress the way that I want to dress and be who I want to be because that, like, what are you gonna do? Like, and not that I'm gonna put it on you, but if you have an issue and you want to come get it, defend myself.
Another way I like to think of it, in the martial arts sense, not so much as fighting, but more like the ukemi of it. Like, there are other hobbies I like fencing or rock climbing, and a lot of that stuff is taking stuff in, because in fencing you don't actually use sharp swords, but they're still metallic, they're still very blunt, and they hurt to be hit with. So I think a lot of the teaching, a lot of learning how to be hit, and not just immediately shying away from it, has really helped with my technique as a fencer and other hobbies I like to do.
Very good. Unperturbable mind. It's number 13, right? So when the next time you're made fun of, for whatever reason, the next time that you feel insulted, you got to grow a thicker skin, right? A tougher hide, and you need to develop Fudoshin. Everyone here in this circle already has it, or you would have quit long ago. So this is always in our spirit and training in this dojo, and it's going to stay that way too. There will be times where others, Shoshin, Mushin, Kenshin, all these others will come in, but Zanshin, all of them, but Fudoshin is really, really an important aspect of our mental training, because every day new challenges come our way. COVID-19, right? We are going through Fudoshin right now as a nation. Now it's COVID-20, right? COVID-21 next year. It's going to continue, but we learn from it too. We learn from our mistakes. So Fudoshin, I will not be moved. I will learn from my errors. I will remain open-minded but unperturbed. And that to me is what separates a warrior from a sage, is the ability to not fight, to be so strong, so immovable that you don't have to lift a fist. And your very essence of being is enough to not just intimidate, but keep the bad guys away, surround yourself with good people, good friends. You'll attract the right spouse, all these things, your children will, it all stems off of that. And through my martial training, I'm sure you'll agree, is where I get this. I don't get it from anywhere else but this, but there are many ways. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's going to be framed and hung right over there, so that when the younger people come up to you and they're like, how do you stay so calm and cool and collected? I just want you to point up there and say, Fudoshin. And they're like, and then you say, go Google that. Because all of us, if you last long enough, we'll have that power. And I want to put it in a frame up there. It's something we can just point to. So when you get hit in the nose and you go to cry, it's okay to cry, nothing wrong with tears, but I'm going to point to that. Stop crying, Fudoshin, let's continue. It's a tough day, let's have a better day tomorrow, okay?